Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, and that you can quote me in FLC.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the FLC Hangout, where your freedom lifestyle begins. Today we have another very, very special guest and dear friend to us and the whole family joining us. So thank you, Emily, for being here. And we're going to be touching upon different struggles people have when starting a business and going through the first stages of their business, because I know that all of us here have gone through something, and probably most people watching, unless you haven't started yet, have gone through some kind of struggle when starting a business. So yeah, we're watching you. No, but we're going to be talking about it. It's going to be very chill. We're going to have fun. So Misty, over to you.
Awesome. Hey guys. Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for joining us. I do have a question for you. Emily, you have been in the FLC, I want to say OG, but I think you and I came in around the same time, right? So when you first came in, I know that we've gone through a lot of the struggles together. I mean, we kind of still have those struggles every once in a while. So when you came in and you first were getting started, what kind of struggles were you going through? And did going through the Launch Your Business in 5 days help out with that? Or did that? You're okay.
That alarm though.
We know where you're at. Anyway.
I actually didn't hear anything. So
Oh my God, alarm for who knows what.
Anyway, can you just kind of touch on a little bit of the struggles that you've gone through? First of all, how long have you been in FLC? How was it that you found Shibaria? Did you come into FLC?
I feel like this is a typical story, but maybe it's not all that common. But I found Shibaria, I actually think it was through Master somehow or other, though I don't actually recall specifically how, but I found him through his YouTube, and then probably through one of his very many programs was directed to there, which had just so happened to, be synchronistically aligned with me at that time, because I had literally just gone through, I think maybe the year right before, a funnel course. And honestly, with Russell Brunson, called the One Funnel Away Challenge. Maybe some of you out there have done it, maybe some of you haven't. And so I had just had this like really awesome crash course on funnels, but to be honest, perfectly still had no clue like how really to use them, because yeah, you get a crash course, but they don't, well, it's not like
exactly how to crash
and hold your way through it. Yeah, exactly. It's more like a crash and burn your way through and make all the things and get lost in all of the holes. So it was great. And I've been there for what, I guess 3 years now. I've had several years of FLC brain conditioning in a positive way. And yeah, it's been great though for my development in general to go through. Actually, yeah, interestingly, going through FLC as a framework and I feel like it's more than just a framework, but I don't really know what to call it. But going through what FLC really is a huge personal development journey and a really big growth opportunity for anybody going through that. Meaning anyone coming through FLC will absolutely grow as a person, besides the fact that they will then be able to grow their business, which is so, so cool. I don't know if I answered your question directly there, but feel free to remind me and I'll hit that again.
That's fine. So basically, You took your course, the crash course with Russell Brunson, which I'm sure is a fantastic course, but you probably have to have some basic knowledge of what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So when you went through the Launch Your Business in 5 days, the course that Shabaria set up, did that help anything? Did that clear anything up?
Yes, if you're someone who happens to have been around our community, the FLC community, me, whatever, for the last couple of years, you'll know that I've talked loads about it, and I guess I will continue to talk loads about it, but it really was Chibs and was that journey of going through Launch Your Business that allowed me to actually understand what happens inside of a funnel. Like, I don't know, it's one thing for, say, a math teacher to teach you that 1 + 1 = 2. But until you perhaps, I don't know, are out in the world, this is a bad example, but giving someone like change back or something, and you're giving them the 1 + $1, and then you see that it's $2, you don't really understand. And so having her literally walk us through like every single step of the journey in little Chib fashion and little mini Chibs, was incredible.
Little
for me.
pocket Chibs.
Answering to every question. Yeah, exactly. Pocket Chibs is priceless. I want a little one for like my daily life.
I know,
right?
we say that all the time. I want a little Chabaria to bring around with me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I either want a little Chabaria or I want to be a little Chabaria. I wouldn't mind being a little Chabaria.
I'll take both. Bobblehead,
Right? Bobblehead, yeah.
Right.
Yes. That would be master, because he says, say yes to everything. Yes. Okay.
I should have got that for his birthday. Why did I not think of that?
Oh yeah, that's so funny.
Oh well.
That's so funny. Oh, I thank you for sharing that, by the way, because it sparked a new question that I actually didn't have, but I'd have now. Okay, how am I going to word this? After starting FLC and like Launch Your Business in 5 days, and by the way, we're not just talking about FLC here, we're like talking about any business course that people are on. It just so happens that we have all been quite obviously part of FLC, and
we've gone through the Launch Your Business, so yeah.
So exactly,
we talk about what we know.
Yeah. Do you feel like after starting you started facing more challenges, but was also able to get through those challenges? Because I always feel like the more I actually go into something and the more I know about something, the more challenges I actually face.
Yes, totally. Absolutely. In fact, that was something that when I was pondering the fact that Misty had invited me on here essentially, and I was like, what am I going to talk about relevant to this? That's something that I was thinking about too, is how integral that this is. FLC is so cool. It just teaches you so much. And yeah, I grew so much as a person going through that. Like, I used to be so introverted, think I couldn't do it. And like, it's weird to think about, but it put me up against myself. Like, you have to look at yourself when you're developing your business, which, trust me, is not something I was planning on. I was like, what's all this internal work? Like, what's that about? So I love that about that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to bring up. I don't think a lot of people realize that when you're going into a business, you're starting a business, it's not just about forming this company or this business or store or whatever you're doing and creating that and selling to other people. You have to really get in there and I don't want to say change, but that's basically what it is. Change and grow and kind of like a Rubik's Cube, fit all these pieces together to make it work enough to be able to sell to other people. Because, people buy from people they like, they know, and they trust. And if you're not going to be authentic and be who you are, then and be visible, they're not going to do that with you, right? So I think it's really important for people to understand that when you're going into a business, you're not just selling products or a course or something else, you're selling yourself to other people. Mm-hmm. And what people want to see is somebody they can resonate with, they can trust, that's honest, that's, I want to say faithful, but let's come on, I don't know where that fits in. But anyway, it's, you guys know what I mean, right? Because I can't think of all the words right now, but they want you, because when you're a consumer and you're looking at somebody else, you want to see yourself kind of in that product or in that person, because hey, I can trust this person's a good person for me to do business with.
That's
right?
very true. That's so true. And it's important to know that you are going to do also personal growth, and your business is going to be a reflection of you. Like it's not you're you, and then your business is like a whole different person. Whoever you are, and like whatever like vibration, and if anyone's woo-woo with us here, whatever you're on is going to reflect in your business, and is going to reflect what people you bring in and the money you bring in. So I love that you said that, Emily, that it's a lot of internal work as just as much as it is like actual like business, corporate work. And I think it's also really important for people to remember and realize that you are going to face challenges. Like it's the more you know, the more challenges are going to come your way. But my mind goes to Seb, and FLC, we say this a lot, is it's good problems. When we have new problems, because we're scaling and now we have all these new problems, it's a good thing, and we like that. So yeah, I think that's really important for people to remember, that when you are facing these new problems and these challenges, it's not a sign to give up. It's a sign to keep going, because you're growing and you're going in the right direction.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually, because that's something that I was thinking of when you brought up, like, did I face more challenges? And actually, yeah, in a lot of ways, I really did, because if you've, followed my journey, you know that I've probably a few times said that I'm not super tech savvy. So diving into, like how to do sort of, for example, just a back end of hooking up your ebook to your funnel or something like that, I would have had no freaking clue. And all that, so you have to face it. And yeah, that's kind of ties in with the personal development bit, is then you sort of, much like hilariously, much like climbing a mountain, you can stay where you are, or you can be like, nah, I'm going to progress my business. I'm going to progress through this challenge. I'm going to find a way. And it sounds so silly, because for me, what it ended up being, like, I don't even know how I made it into such a huge obstacle, because nowadays I'll just go and Google it. And that seems so simplistic, but like Google really does have all of the answers. You can quite literally Google, I think, anything on the planet and find pretty accurate information. Maybe not accurate, but information. And so you can push through almost any obstacle. And why I'm saying that is just largely the biggest obstacle you'll face in both your personal development journey and your business journey is yourself, which was the craziest part for me to face. It's like, oh, I thought I knew who I was. Whoops, just kidding. Not quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. Yeah, great point.
Yeah, that's so true, because you hear it a lot that you are the only person that's stopping you, and you are your biggest competition. And everyone who's made it in business says all this, don't they? So it really is you v you, but in a really loving and supporting way. It's not like you look in the mirror, you're like, oh. So yeah, I love that.
Your self-talk must be a little intense, honey.
I'm like, right, Josie. No, I'm just kidding. It's all
breaking barriers.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Break thing down.
Yeah, exactly. Something you were when you were talking, something that came to mind was, so Chabaria was on stage yesterday on Manifesting Miracles, and it was so good. But she said something, she said something, and I've heard her say this before, but again, the more you hear something, like the more meaning it'll give. And Misty's so excited, she's glitching out. She said that once you make your first million, let's use 1 million. Once you make your first million and you know you did that and you know how you did that, are you going to stop there? No. You're going to rinse and repeat, right? So business is a constant growth. I cannot take this too seriously.
Rinse and repeat. Oh, my brain, one day it works in comic strips. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to have to get a really good graphic designer.
This is how you know that we are authentic here. We don't edit. Yeah. Oh, Misty, you're funny. You're funny. Oh, she's back, but she's still green.
It's
Got the green giant.
Hey, it's March, right? Gotta look like a leprechaun. Anyway,
At least we match
it's
our
because I've got
background.
so many things open on my laptop that it's like glitching out. It's like too much.
Interesting.
I'm thinking too much. Ah! Anyway,
Conversation.
I have a question for you, Emily. I know you have this amazing ebook out, right? You did your ClickFunnels, you've got it out there. Yay! Ooh. How long did it? First two questions. How long did it take you to go through the ClickFunnels, figure it out, and launch it? And two, what are some of the struggles you went through to do that? I kind of like that color.
Oh God. Okay. Ebook. Let me think about this one. Wow. This is a multiple part question. Well, okay. So the first part of that question was the getting over myself bit. So part of that was just like, I don't know why, but seriously was just a procrastination issue of like actually writing it. So I guess part one, the mini novella, was get over yourself and learn that you actually have value enough to write a book. Bingo, bango. So I finally wrote the book itself. So it didn't actually take me that much time to do the actual writing of it. It was, as silly as it sounds, it was a literal process of me convincing myself that I had enough worth and value in my stuff, whatever, to share. So that was hurdle number one. And in terms of like, how long did it actually take me? Not very long, because like I said, you can Google almost anything. And what you can't Google is probably in Launch Your Business already. Guarantee you, when it comes to that sort of thing. So yeah, it was sort of a two-part hurdle, but it didn't really take that long. It literally took me more time to convince myself that I was not an imposter and to put it through like a framework than really to share my knowledge would have ever taken, which is kind of comical, but it really, I guess what I'm also saying that is perhaps if I can encourage others who want to write a book, it's just do it, because writing it itself is not what's taking the time. I promise you. It's just you thinking that you don't have the value, or I don't know, maybe you just need to allot like 15 minutes a day to write it, but people should write their stories. So ultimately the writing of it didn't take long at all. And the learning of it, had I applied myself more, well, I'd be rocking and rolling, but it took me a long time to deal with the personal aspects of it. So I dragged my feet for a very long time.
I feel like
that's the honest answer.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's amazing. And like, thank you for being so honest as well, because I know it just helped me, and I know it's going to help everyone watching too. But I feel like you see that a lot in life, right? You put off something so much, and actually you make it out to be so much bigger than it actually is. Like making a phone call, just pick up the phone, make the call. It's not that bad. You see the dishes on the side, you put it off all day, just do the dish. Like, I'm talking to myself here, just do the damn dishes, or like anything, just do it.
Yeah, like get out of your own way.
Yeah, get out your own way. It's really, most of the time, not as bad as you're making it out to be in your head. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So did it take you like weeks or months to be able to do the funnel?
God. Well, so the funnel itself really didn't take me all that long. Maybe a month, and only really like a solid week of that because I didn't have, say, full time to devote to just learning it. Because had I had just set aside the time and gone in there and learned the back end stuff, probably would not have taken me very long at all. It's not that it's difficult. We say this a lot in our community. I know Seb has said something like this. He has a typical Sebism about this. It's just that we do, like Josie was just saying, we blow things out of proportion. And then it's just the anticipation of something that's not even, like, really most of the time, 99.9999999, not even real, like doesn't even happen legit. So
so true. So true. I see that on when I'm making cold calls all the time. I'm like, this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen. Like, it's not bad. Like, nothing bad happens. I'm okay. I'm safe. At the end of every day, I go to sleep. I have like a roof over my head. Like so yeah, I relate so much.
Yeah, I go through that too, especially making cold calls. And the more cold calls I make, even if they don't answer me, I find that people they're responding. They're responding to me. Like it may take a couple of days, and then I'm getting messages and phone calls and hey, and it's like, well, I don't know who you are. So if I call you guys, please leave a name. Leave a name so I know who I'm calling back. I love y'all and I want to talk to you, but I need to know who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
oh, sorry,
go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. Okay.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say, because no, you. Emily talked about Seb and his quotes. Two quotes that immediately come to mind that I love, and I want everyone to write down either in your notebooks or in the comments, is one, fear lies in the anticipation of action, not in the action itself, which Emily kind of mentioned. So fear lies in the anticipation of action, not in the action itself. Number two, and this I think his friend told him, and now he says to us, is what is keeping you so loyal to a life that's keeping you so stuck? I love those two. So yeah, take of that what you will.
What is that other one? Fear. Face everything and rise. I love that one. I have that one on my mirror. It's like, because I think we get so caught up in our head and we make things, like you guys have said, we build stuff up so much, the anticipation up so much, and how this is going to go and how am I going to do this? And we overthink it so much. We build up that fear, right? So being able to have that in my face and see it, face everything and rise, that just helps eliminate that and kind of just relieves that, like, oh, I can do this. Does that make sense? It just kind of helps take that and like, oh, I've got this. And I still every once in a while say, I kind of have this thing where I don't run from my fears. It may take me a while, but I will stand up to my fears and face it, because I find that if I don't, it turns around and bites me or kicks me in the ass later. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that if there is that fear and I'm trying to do something positive, because we don't want to do anything negative, right? We don't want to do anything bad. So if I'm trying to do something positive and I have that fear and I'm putting it off and not doing it, that in itself is a negativity. So if we and can come around and be like, you should have learned this lesson, you should have done it, and then it kicks you in the ass and you're like, had I just done this and worked through my fear, I could have been so much further. I could have, and instead of doing I could have, or if I would have let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who started it in the community, but there's nothing to it but to do it. I don't know if that was Grant Cardone or who, but it was just, there's nothing to it but to do it. And you'll find that when you do something, it's a lot less scary than what you anticipated. Because like I said, we build up that fear. We really get everything. So
all the time. Yeah. And by the way, remember that it's okay to feel the fear. Like, don't beat yourself up if you're feeling scared or any of these, because growth lies outside of your comfort zone. And when you're outside of your comfort zone, you will feel that fear. So the fear is actually a sign that you are growing. So don't kick yourself and beat yourself up if you are feeling that. Like, it's a good thing, as tricky, as weird as that sounds. But Emily, I'm curious. This is like for my own curiosity. How are your cold calls going?
Come on, you would hit me where I live.
They know we practice. They know we are doing it.
We're practicing. That's how it's going. Yeah, I'm working my way up to the people. It's funny. It's funny because I love people and I love to crack jokes and all of this stuff. And when it comes to cold calling, I just freeze up like you would not believe. So I'm working on it. It sounds silly out loud, but I'm putting myself in positions on a daily basis where I have to be sort of uncomfortable talking to people hate to use this as an example, but this is a good example. You know, speaking makes me kind of like, oh, so challenges are an amazing opportunity to grow though. And I have grown so much because I've had to be outside of that comfort zone. And you're absolutely right. Like, it's so funny because the minute we come up with the unknown, we just immediately turn any piece of fear into like this big, scary, looming, hulking monster. And then before we know it, we're like, that's why we get so, that my theory anyways, that's why us procrastinators or past procrastinators did that. You get so afraid that it's like this big spooky nightmare chasing you that you're like afraid to turn around. You're like,
Yeah.
It's like, no wonder you're not doing it, because you're afraid the minute you like stop to catch your breath, you're gonna be like, no, okay, this is not something chasing you. This is like a weird maybe example to people who aren't, I don't know, musically or horsely related or whatever, but for me, and this is a strange lesson, but something that I took from my horseback riding teacher like many years ago, I haven't been horse riding for ages. He said to me, I was really, really nervous because I was going to ride my horse in a show. And I was like, you have no control over the horse. They could do whatever they want. They're a sentient being with a mind of their own. They want to take off with me over the fence. Like, I better just hope for the best and hang on. And so then like the lesson in that being, later on, I was giving a performance on the flute, which can't run away, doesn't have a mind of its own, is not entirely conscious or anything like that, just an inanimate object. And I was having a lot of fear about getting on stage and performing. And my horseback riding teacher looked at me and he was like, what's it going to do? Run away? And it was so like funny and just kind of such a shock, kind of, you know, you're not expecting to just kind of be directly confronted with like, you're such a derp. Like, you realize that this thing in your hands, like, can't actually just bail. And it was like, okay, what am I so nervous over? And so it's like that with anything I've found, for me anyway. When I get into anything in life, my unfortunate initial reaction is, oh my God. And then if I just am willing, like Misty said, to, you know, face it, stand there a second, breathe, be like, this is not a living conscious being in that sense, and just calm down, amazing things open up to you. And it really does provide you with an opportunity to grow. And the kicker, the comedic part for me as a comedian, is the fact that you actually feel so good when you actually finally do the thing. It's like, just do it. You actually like that feeling. Come on.
Absolutely. I want to throw this out there. When you're ready, maybe sooner than you are really ready, Josie and I will do cold calling with you. We'll jump on a Zoom like this and we'll do cold calling with you, just to give you that support and that extra oof, you know, that you need. Oh, and off topic, Thursday we were on our coaching call with Coach David, and I told him about our program we're working on.
Oh, I was like thinking, I'm like, what program? Oh, that.
I told him, I said something like, I said something like, I said, well, you know, another one of the girls in, you know, Emily, that's in the FLC with us, and she and I are working on this course on how to teach people how to procrastinate. And we're going to sell this course. And he's like, oh, okay. And I said, it's going really well. It's going really well. We haven't even started yet. And he lost it.
Yeah, that punchline. It's
so good. Yeah,
that's so funny. That is funny, actually. Was that before I joined? Before I was there?
Yeah, it was before you joined.
I didn't hear that.
He even went down off camera. I think he was trying to sit in his chair, and he just went nuts. Like, I love it.
That is funny. Well, there's a business idea for anyone.
Yeah, there you go. If you can monetize that, hey, Emily and I get royalties because we came up with it, right?
Exactly. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah. I love that.
If you ever get started, call us.
Oh,
you're doing it wrong. If you ever get started, you're doing it wrong. Give us a call.
Reverse engineering.
We'll teach you how.
You got to practice what you preach, guys.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God. Funny.
Anyway.
Funny. On the topic, going back to the topic of cold calls.
Yes, please.
Not to stop the fun, but I remember we were on one of the sales rallies with one of the Cardone team, I can't remember which day it was, so I don't know who, I'm sorry. But someone was talking to them and they were like, no, I haven't started cold calls yet. Like I'm too scared. I literally haven't picked up the phone. And whoever it was like, what is the worst that could happen? Tell me what's the worst that could happen. Oh, they swear at me. Okay, so they swear at you. Oh, they hang up. Okay, so they hang up. Oh, they tell me this and this and this about the business. Okay, so they tell you this and this and this. Like, is that going to stop you from going after your dreams and making that money? And it's just, you could see everyone's face on the Zoom like, wow, like, so what am I making such a big deal that's actually really not? We call people every day. We talk to people every day. Most of our interactions day to day are cold interactions. But now what's different is you are taking the action to pick up the phone and call someone else. And I promise you, most of the time, it's actually a really fun, pleasant process. And I'm talking to anyone watching. It is, you get occasionally where you do have challenges, but that is growth. Misty knows. Misty's had a lot.
I've had a lot.
Opportunities for growth. And actually, sometimes I realize when I get those, I mean, I get it less than Misty, but when I get it, I'm like, do you know what? That wasn't bad. Like, hit me again. Someone hit me again. Like, let's go. So
that felt kind of good.
Okay.
Doing great.
Yeah, I've had really fun people. I've had people threaten me to completely destroy my life. I've had people cuss me out. I've had them hang up on me. I got this really awesome one day or two ago. It was so amazing. This person, I called somebody and they left a voicemail. So they proceeded to call me back. And I could hear there was somebody talking, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. All I kept hearing was no, and they're like, they were angry. So I don't know if they were cussing me out or whatever, telling me not to call back or whatever. I don't know, but they were not happy. And then they hung up on me. And I just kept saying, I apologize. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I can't hear what you're saying. Can you please repeat that? And they did not care. And they said whatever they had to say and they hung up. So yeah, we get really fun ones. But the thing is, you have to realize, Grant Cardone's team says, listen to what the other person's saying, but don't buy in. Don't buy it. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the other person, right? And when you get the hang-ups and you get the people cussing you out, celebrate those. You might think, why would you celebrate something so negative? Okay, celebrate it, because that means you're getting closer to the yes. It's a numbers game. Anything you're going to do in business is a numbers game. You have to go through those numbers, work through the numbers, get through all the negativity to get to the positivity, right? So if you get those, yeah, ooh, another hang up, yes. You know what? I'm going to call you back. Yeah. Okay. I actually had a guy do that. He hung up on me and I called him back.
And then you booked it, right?
I was about to ask if you called him.
No, that one I didn't book, but there was another one I did book. Yeah.
Okay. Who? I love that you said that, because the reason I did this when Misty was talking is it takes 5 minutes.
Shut up.
No, I'm just kidding.
My hand.
It's my turn. No, I'm just kidding. It takes 5 no's to get a yes. So something, I think it was Brandon from the sales rally, said that he actually gets excited when he gets a no. He gets excited when he gets a hang up, because he's like, man, I'm closer to my next yes. So it's just so interesting to see the different mindset that people have with experience. So I think the big point we're trying to make, or what I'm trying to make, is with the challenges, it's fun. You can make it fun. Just shift the mindset to make it fun for yourself.
Yeah. I have a question. I have a question for either one of you guys. Sorry, I'll let you answer here in just a second, Emily, and then, you can go ahead and answer if it has to do with that, and then I'll.
You're fine. Go
no, right. I'm not. Anyway,
you're so fun. Not in here. I mean,
okay. So my question is, crap.
I love that question. I've been waiting to talk about this.
That is my favorite question. I have it just about every single day. I ask myself,
I'm so happy you do. No, okay. So my question was, crap, it's gone again. Never mind. Just keep talking.
Oh, she's pulling a Misty. Oh,
Another Misty.
If anyone watches our old episodes before the new launch, pulling a Misty, you'll know what that means. Because I mean, I don't know why we decided to pull a Misty, because I did it just as much. Actually, I don't know. I like calling it pulling a Misty.
Basically, I forget every once in a while, okay? I forget, it's like it's there and then all of a sudden it's gone. And then I'm telling Josie, just keep talking, it'll eventually come back and I'll just cut it and say what I wanted to say. And she's like, okay, so we'll just pull on a Misty.
It's okay, I can talk for days if you let me.
Oh, I remember what it was. See?
There we go.
My question is, going live, even in the group or just making your videos, how difficult was that for you guys at the beginning? And has it gotten fun and easier for you? How did you work through that?
Emily, you go ahead.
I'll take that first. Okay.
She's like, oh.
In the beginning with the lives, I was so terrified, honestly. Like I legit was that person who like was shaking, sweating, could not push the button. And I know it's just a dang button, but I think I cried. I cried. Practically might as well have, because I was inside, like all the judgments were just going crazy. I think maybe my video was like 2 minutes. It was very short, whatever it is now. You guys know I ramble. And nowadays, like I actually do really enjoy it. And I try to make a point of kind of coming on to, days where I feel me judging me, that I have something worthwhile to share or whatever. But most days, actually these days, I try to just push myself to just share anything, because, and it might sound kind of like, like why bother? But honestly, because I just really do believe that everybody has something to share. And whether or not even you yourself think you have a message as such, you're still the only person, and I've talked about this in my lives and out of my lives and here and there and everywhere, but you're the only person who can do you. And it's like kind of a cliche saying, but really do you, boo, because the world literally needs you to participate. So
I usually say, I usually tell people, if you have something to say, you may not think that it's important, but it really matters to somebody else. So if you have something to say it, especially if it's positive, because there's somebody else who needed to hear it.
Yes.
And you don't know how that's affecting somebody else. Yeah.
I was just going to add, it makes me think of this, a thought. Makes me think of thought. Yes. That I recently had, which is just kind of, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking in regards to fruits, because I was thinking about locations in the world and how some fruits like bananas and apples here in the Northeast are really common to us, but place like the islands, like Mauritius, it's like not even heard of practically. So it's like, what's common to you? This is something Chabaria and others have talked about, is what's common to you is not common to someone else. So even if it's in your wheelhouse of knowledge, like it may be a huge aha for somebody else just because you know it your way. So don't undervalue yourself in that way either. Yep. Just give yourself enough credit to be present in your own life.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very true.
Absolutely.
So true. It's funny you asked that, actually, because the other day when I was actually on a call with you, Misty, and I was looking for our very first hangout, do you remember? To find out the date.
I remember.
And through doing so, somehow I came up with every single live I've ever done in the Smile group, which for anyone who doesn't know is Tabara's Facebook group, social media, lifestyle entrepreneurs. And it came up in order from first to last. So I watched a bit of the first one and I watched a bit of the last one and I watched some in between. But just like the difference was crazy. And I remember the very first time I went live, it's after the Tabara's 7-day challenge. And my heart was like, I was sweating, like I was clammy, and I was talking like this. I was like, thank you guys for, because I thought that no one actually would listen to me if I didn't talk like that and get my points out quickly and only say good things. And then my last one is so much more relaxed, and I'm actually speaking and I'm like engaging with people. The first one, I wasn't even reading the comments. I was like, I couldn't see. I was too like blurry. I was so nervous. But it's just, the difference is crazy. And now I will go live whenever. I don't even notice. I'm like, live. Oh, I've pressed it already. Oh, okay, we're live. And some of my most popular lives, or the ones that's got the most interaction and reactions, are the ones where I'm just like, oh, I'll go live now. Oh well.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. So
yeah, it's because that's when you're being your most authentic, and people can resonate with that. And that's what I like. And that's, yeah, I think I don't know how many people I watch their lives when they're first, like their very first lives, and a lot of them just like, I'm here, and they click, they're done. Yeah. It's like, come on, we can, you're beautiful. Let's get this out. Come on, you can do this. Let's hear what you've got to say, because it's important. It's valuable. So before we wrap up, because we're getting close to the end, is there anything you guys would like to share before we close up?
Nuggets of knowledge.
Sure. Well, for me, it's kind of always the same one, but I'm going to give it again anyway, because it's ridiculously important. And just as I've come to understand it, I've sort of realized on a more deep level just how much people really do just need to, I don't even want to say need to, just how to say this, how much just more it would be if people just kind of for themselves could embrace their own power as they're growing. So like, you don't have to be at XYZ place now, and your journey is your own, and it literally does not matter what any other human being is doing. Even your own comparison to yourself in the future version of you is not even really that relevant, because as we've heard maybe Master say, or other people like this, we have to become, this is perhaps the hardest part, in my opinion, of sort of becoming the entrepreneur, is you learn that you have to be what you want to attract. And we spend a lot of time, even myself, just thinking about what we want out of it, not necessarily the fact that we have to then, again, going back to what I said about how it's about your own self-growth, you have to become it. And you have to go through that self-development journey in order to well, you don't have to, but in that process, you embrace yourself more, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know, just if I
you
can
have to become what you want. What you want to attract, you have to become.
Yeah. And don't be scared to just be like that which you are. I know a lot of us, or at least I used to feel like just kind of the oddball, the weirdo, the freak. And let me just tell you, as someone who's kind of recently coming through overcoming that, it's not true. You're really telling yourself a big lie. And actually those things which you're seeing, and this is my favorite part, those things that this is my biggest learning recently, that you think are your weaknesses. And you've probably heard this in different ways, your message, but your weak points, what you think are your weak points, are literally your biggest strengths and gifts. Like, take heart in knowing that what you perceive to be a weakness is something, if you actually can understand and embrace that about yourself, it's actually your strength and way of connecting with other people. So I would encourage you just to explore that for yourselves, whoever, being you guys and everybody else watching this, go explore. Just don't be afraid, because I spent so long just being afraid of every dang thing and it's not worth it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You, Josie, you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I think, by the way, thank you so much, Emily, for that, because that was a huge learning for me, as well as everyone watching. So yeah, I appreciate you being here too. I think inspired by this conversation today is be comfortable getting uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, because when you're feeling that, it's a sign you're outside of your comfort zone. And if you're outside of your comfort zone, you're growing and you're heading in the right direction. The people who stay loyal to the life that's keeping them stuck are the people who stay in their comfort zone. So don't let that be you. That was hard to say, but yeah, challenge yourself every day. Get outside your comfort zone and grow.
Absolutely. And with that, guys, we thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yes. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we did it. No. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Yeah, that's a good language. We should start that one. New course is coming out to you soon. Blah, 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 blah.
Sexy. Blah, blah, blah. Want to bring your blah, blah from blah to
Yeah.
blah. Blah, blah, blah.
We're so bad.
I know.
Thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the FLC Hangout. We hope you guys found our discussion informative, engaging, hopefully fun, right? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving us a comment with your thoughts and suggestions for future topics. We value your feedback and we would love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, the share button, and send this out to all the people you know, your friends, your family, anybody you know that might find this helpful. We want to be sure to get this channel out to as many people as possible to reach so we can help them reach their freedom lifestyles, right? From everyone here at the Freedom Lifestyle Creators Company, welcome to the family. We're your family for life. So stay tuned, keep learning, and we'll be back next Sunday with a new episode and more powerful information of the Freedom Lifestyle Hangout, the FLC Hangout. Dun, dun, dun. See ya.
Thanks, everyone.